Rain Country Homestead. God is good all the time. Today I'm going to show you how I make my own special muscle and joint rub. And I tell you, this stuff works really good. We use it on both our muscles and our joints, and even when I have a headache, I just, I'll rub it into my neck, my temples. Though you want to be very careful, you keep it away from any sensitive areas and the eyes and stuff like that, because it is pretty strong. So I'm going to show you what I do, and I want to explain some things as I go, because you're going to need to tailor this to suit you. So I make mine very strong. This is probably going to be way too strong for most people, and even some of the things I use in this you may want to consider leaving out if you have very sensitive skin or allergies to certain things, and you'll see why when I get there. But I'm going to start with just the most basic ingredients that I think you should use to get started. So what I have here, this is the bottle I keep it in, and this was just an organic lemon juice bottle, and I just like the size and the color of it, so I save these when I use them up, and then I can just buy these little corks at the hardware store that fit in there. I don't remember what size it is, 1 or 2. This is the bottle I keep it in, so I'll just be topping that off. I don't really obviously need any right away, but I want to get this video made, so I'm going to go ahead and just top this off. And a cup is probably going to be more, I think a cup should do it. So what I have here, and I showed this in my hair oil video, this is my, it's avocado oil that has been infused with cayenne pepper. And you can see the thick layer of cayenne at the bottom because I didn't bother straining it out. It just settles on the bottom. There's actually pieces of red pepper flakes that I put in there too. And so that's where I really don't want that in the muscle rub, so I'm going to use a little strainer as I pour it through. It's not a big deal. I just would rather not have chunks in there. So I'm going to use a cup of this, and you can see that color. Now what you do to infuse your oil, you see how much I put in there initially. And then of the pepper, and then I topped it off with, I used avocado oil. You could add some castor oil in there too. And the reason I used avocado rather than olive oil or certain other oils is because avocado oil is going to last longer shelf-wise. Where olive oil, especially if you're keeping it in a warmer area, like when you're infusing this, you kind of want to keep your oils that you're infusing in a warmer area, and so you want to use an oil that can stand a high heat and have a longer shelf life. Castor oil is also a good choice, especially like for your hair. That hair oil, castor oil also does work well for stimulating hair growth, but it's very thick, and that's why I don't prefer to use it in there, because I'm going to rub it in there and I'm going to leave it in all day, and so I don't want a real thick oil. But it's a good option. I did add a little bit in there later just to try it, and it was okay. So I want you to look real close at that color. So avocado oil is, at least the stuff that I use, the organic avocado oil, and I'll link to that below, it is clear. And so when it's got that nice color in there, it's been infused really well with the cayenne pepper. So this is a hot oil already. So rubbing this alone into your muscles and your joints is going to help heat them up and stimulate blood flow. So that alone is going to do a lot. Now, the 3 oils I recommend you start with are clove, eucalyptus, and peppermint. And as you can see, I'm using Now Foods, though I do have some other, fancy name brand ones that, they seem pretty good. In comparison, I'm still thinking I like the Now Foods maybe better, because I haven't found the other ones to be any stronger than these. Just make sure you read your ingredients. Like this one here, 100% pure peppermint oil. You can read about the company. They are all about non-GMO and all that kind of stuff, so just you know, just check into anything. And if you're not into Now Foods, that's fine. I just think for the value and the quality, I think they're just, I still keep coming back to these. They're my favorite. So for this, for 1 cup, I would recommend starting with a capful of each for you, and then try it. So after you do a capful of each, make sure you mix it good. You can use a chopstick, which I have sitting here, a fork, whatever you choose. So I've got 1 whole cup of each. I always typically go with even amounts. So I'm just going to stir this up, and then what you want to do, and smell it and see how strong it smells to you. See, I know for me this isn't going to be enough. For a lot of people who, especially if you're sensitive, try it first. Try it, you know, try it first on an area that's not as sensitive, and then try it on areas that might be a little bit more sensitive, and see how that makes you feel. And if you feel like it's not, you don't feel like a warming sensation at all, then you're going to need to add, you're going to want to add more. So I'm going to put at least another capful of each, because I know I use a lot in this. But I tell you, this stuff does the trick. It just feels really good. When I was having a lot of knee issues, when I was teaching dance and taekwondo, I found if I rubbed this into my knee, all around my knee area before I started teaching class, that I did really good all through class. So my guess is this is still not going to be strong enough for me. I always have to play with it every time because I don't write down I don't keep track of my measurements. That's a good start. You can just kind of keep playing with it and mixing it. I know I'm going to need more. I won't do that right now. So again, be very careful. Start small and build up, because you don't know what you're going to handle. And then I am not very educated in oils and what should and shouldn't be used together. I'm the kind of person that I just experiment. So don't take my word for all of this. Look into a lot of this stuff yourself. Don't trust me with this. Someone like Oily's Humble Home, I would talk to her and find out what kind of what she does and what she recommends as far as what you should and shouldn't mix together, because some can be quite dangerous. I haven't had any issues with the blends that I'm using right now, so all I can say is it works great for both me and for Patrick. And usually I rub this into his back at night, you know, because he gets, you know, his lower back sometimes gets real tight and stiff and sore, so I'll just rub a little bit in there and it really makes a difference. And for me, it's usually my shoulders. And like I said, anytime there's any kind of joint issue, rub that in there. Just if nothing else, it feels really good. And I always look at the fact that when any of the stuff that you're rubbing into your skin is getting into your bloodstream, so any effect it can have on you internally that's beneficial, you're going to get simply by rubbing it in your skin. You don't have to ingest it. And I've noticed right away when I first started making this years ago, every time I would use it, I just noticed I just felt better in general. So not just in the muscles and the joints. Now, the next 2 ingredients are something you can consider adding, but I recommend being very careful because some people are very sensitive to these 2 things. But for us, this just adds that extra boost and really gives it that icy hot feeling like you would, you know, buy in a product from the store. You guys know what I'm talking about, but this is all natural. So what I have here are some menthol crystals, and I got these again on, and again people, if I could find all this stuff locally, I would buy it locally, but we don't have a health food store near us, so I have to buy things online. So all of this stuff, I get at Amazon, and I will link to it below. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of menthol crystals. And I want to show you what these look like. If you've never seen them before, this is pretty powerful stuff right here. A tablespoon is going to be quite a bit, so I would recommend starting off with maybe just a teaspoon if you're going to try the menthol crystals. And they will dissolve in there. It might take a little bit, but they will dissolve. And then camphor is another one. A lot of people are very sensitive to camphor, but this was one of the ingredients I believe it was commonly used in liniment lotion. So again, consider, look into the side effects and stuff of all this and find out whether or not that's going to be something you want to, you think you should use, and go very carefully with it when you start implementing it in, after you research it first. So again, for us, we've had no issues. We just always feel great using this. Smell it. I'm thinking it's probably going to need a little more camphor. But see, now with the menthol and the camphor in there, I can really feel the warming of it even more so than I could with just these alone. The pepper oil alone does have some warming properties to it. So I'm going to do another capful of that. So I've got 2 capfuls of each of those. Now, some other ingredients you can either add to or mix up, take away some of these and add and use something else instead, are like frankincense is another good one for sore muscles. You can add that in. I have used it in it before. My only issue about using the frankincense in there is the frankincense is a lot more expensive. And so for the amount of oil I like to put in these, I'm going to go ahead and leave it out of this mix and save it for other things, like for our, I use it, I have a relaxing oil blend that I do, and I use the frankincense and the ylang ylang in there. Ginger is another really good one to add. And again, I stress the fact that anything that you rub into your skin is also getting in your bloodstream, is going to be able to get the benefits out of the oils using that too. And I think I will add a little bit of ginger in here. Just going to do a few drops in there. And then wintergreen. Wintergreen is another really good one. You could, like, say if you have a problem with the eucalyptus or the peppermint, you could substitute it with the wintergreen, or you can just add it all in there, because this is how I roll. I just put it all in there because I'm just that way. So, and obviously I'm doing this and you're not seeing it. I'm doing it again. I'm talking to the camera and I'm not paying attention to what you can see. So, you can see the crystals are still in there. Eventually they will dissolve. They take a little bit, but they take a little bit to dissolve, but they will dissolve completely. You just got to give it time and keep coming back and stirring it. And then I'm going to pour it into here. Anything that you're going to store like this, it's really good to try to store in glass bottles, especially anything that's already dark. That's why if I ever have, like the avocado oil I buy, it's in a dark green bottle, glass. And so when I'm done with it, I like to save the glass bottles so I can use them for storing whatever. This is a really nice size for things like this. So there's my muscle rub recipe, and I cannot stress enough the importance of starting basic and starting small and working your way up from there. Start with just these 3 ingredients if you don't have allergies. As far as oils, the clove, the peppermint, and the eucalyptus. And then you don't even have to use the cayenne infused oil. You could just use whatever oil you want as a base and just do the essential oils. I just really like the cayenne infused oil. That was, I originally got this recipe somewhere. I cannot even remember where, this base recipe, and then came up with the idea of adding cayenne pepper to it, and then learned how to infuse, because before I just added the cayenne pepper right into it and used it that way and would rub the cayenne pepper in. Then I realized I could actually just infuse the oil and let it sit for a while, and that was definitely better because I don't have all the pepper in there. I feel like, anyway, pretty, unless you're allergic to any of this stuff, I feel like this is going to be the safest way for you to get started. If you are considering the menthol crystals and or the camphor, I highly, highly recommend research it first. Know the precautions. Don't be like me and just jump in there and test it. And thankfully I was fine. We've been fine. It hasn't bothered us. But since then, I've learned that there can be some issues with these things. All right, so check that out. I'm sure that ginger and frankincense are going to be fairly safe unless you're allergic to them. Wintergreen, I would say, was probably, this is my guess, somewhere in between. So I would research this one too and find out whether or not any of these should even be blended together before you get into it. If you're highly sensitive, I definitely would say stay away from the camphor and the menthol and possibly the wintergreen. And just start with these and start small. All right, so I said that a lot, so just remember, I am not a doctor and nothing I say is meant to replace any kind of medical counsel. I'm just sharing with you what we have learned and what we use and what works for us. And that's all. So use that as basically a starting point. Research it for yourself and then just experiment and see how it works for you. All right, I hope this helped. I hope you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.
I climbed the hill.